Hello viewer, the Nameless Scholar here. Usually I would make videos like this with a camera on where you can see my face, but I currently do not have the time to make such a setup because I have exams and stuff. And I promise the instant my exams are over, I will start working on the Dornian heresy. So anyways, let's begin with the video. Like the title says, Games Workshop has lost touch with their setting. And I have two primary reasons for this. The first being I really do not have to explain the Warhammer Plus fiasco, what they did to fan animators and fan animations, basically hiding them behind a paywall that is not worth it, even for £5, I think. Some people at first thought, this could be worth it if they put literally every single issue of White Dwarf ever released, but they only release issues that they feel like it whenever they feel like it, and the animations are very sparse, and we're talking about £100 million company. Not just that, they treat their content creators with utter contempt, as you can see with the fan animators, and a dreadful NDA they have forced people to sign. So, yeah, not only that, they treat their customers with complete and utter contempt. Like Northern Exile said, they basically think that you're a burden. And that's being nice. If you want the full truth, they see you as parasites. Because they just want to sell their miniatures to children and have those children come back again and again. So, the thing is, it wasn't always like this. I mean, GW was never all that good with communications. From what I've been told, like before the internet, Games Workshop was this shady entity that would occasionally increase prices as a roar of anger. And yeah, aside from that, like ever since like 8th, they started seeing their fan base and customers as leeches, basically. Even though a healthy company-customer relationship is a mutualist one, Games Workshop thinks that their relationship with customers is a parasitic one, which is not true. So, especially with treating their customers as well as content creators, particularly fan creators, with complete and utter contempt, and especially with the indefinite hiatus of TTS, they have also lost touch with what their audience wants. It's as if they want to change their audience. Now, the second reason is this article right here. The Imperium is driven by hate, Warhammer is not. Now, Northern Exile and Eric's Hobby Workshop did wonderful videos on this. I do agree with the statement that Games Workshop is making. Hobby stores should be places where you can escape from the horrors of the real world. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but you get what I mean. It's escapism. And I would not want anybody with a swastika coming into the store, as much as I wouldn't want anybody with a hammer and sickle or a Che Guevara shirt coming to the store. Because you're there to play with your overpriced plastic toys or your trading cards, and have fun there. We do not need people like this. So I agree with the statement that Games Workshop is making. However, what I do disagree is that their claim that Warhammer 40k is a political satire. And I think this is the biggest proof that Games Workshop has lost touch with their own setting. Here are the reasons why I think so. Warhammer 40k, at its current state, cannot possibly be a political satire, because Games Workshop saying that it is a political satire doesn't actually make it automatically true. Saying otherwise is fallacious, and here's the reason. Because there are a lot of evidence that shows that it is indeed not a political satire. There are a lot of evidence. If there were evidence that it still is a political satire, then sure. However, evidence should suggest that it has evolved beyond that, assuming that Rogue Trader did start as a political satire. The thing is, like Eric's Hobby Workshop said, look at all the starter boxes. The 3rd edition box, the Battle for Macrage, Dark Vengeance, Dark Imperium. In literally all of them, the Imperium is on the defensive. I mean, yeah, sure, occasionally you have things like the Black Templars, but more often than not, you see the Imperium on the defensive rather than the offensive. They're not actively going on a jihad driven by hate to exterminate everything that isn't them. Because the thing is, they are simply unable to. The reason for that is that the Imperium is too large and it's attacked from all fronts, from within and without. So they often do not have a time to expand or retake lost planets as much as they do. I mean, for example, take the Night Lord's planet of Salgora. The Night Lords were there, then Conrad Kurz was assassinated, and it took 10 millennia for the Imperium to resettle there again, only for the colony to be slaughtered by the Night Lords. So there is overwhelming amount of evidence that the Imperium is more often than not on the defensive, which begs the question, how and why a nation driven by hate and hate alone more often than not on the defensive than the offensive? Usually, defense is the more justified stance. It's as if the Imperium does the things that it does to survive, and not due to some hate-driven motivations. I mean, the orcs and the Tyranids are just animals, and the Eldar, the Dark Eldar, the Necrons, the Tau, they constantly attack them for territorial expansion or gathering slaves or other hidden agenda. It's as if the Imperium is just trying to survive and is not only actively going on a jihad to exterminate everything that isn't them, but it seems that they are spread so thin that they are literally unable to. So, it simply doesn't make sense. And not only that, these two videos by the Lorestream and JustTheFacts explain why the Imperium is justified to do the things that it does during on the setting of 40k. By our standards, what they are doing is reprehensible. That is 100% correct. However, in the setting of 40k, it is absolutely necessary because it's the only way the Imperium could possibly survive. So, yeah, the conclusion is that they are treating their fans like complete and utter trash, I mean Games Workshop, and they are claiming that Warhammer 40k is a political satire, which all the evidence suggests that, as in its current state, it is not. And just because it began as a political satire doesn't mean it still is a political satire. Claiming otherwise would be fallacious, because it is obvious that the setting of 40k has evolved beyond political satire, and it has become a setting of its own entirely. If you think Warhammer 40k is a political satire, then you also think 1984 is a political satire. The thing is, the only thing that these two have in common is that they are purposely cranked up to 11 to a borderline satirical way. But 1984 is a warning that totalitarians, no matter which side of the aisle, will use these techniques. Whereas the setting of 40k tells the struggle of humanity in a grim, dark setting where they do the things they do to survive. So yeah, Games Workshop has lost touch with their IPs, and Warhammer 40k is not a political satire. By the way, the videos I mentioned will be linked down below. Anyways guys, this is gonna be it for this video. I'm a nameless scholar. Like the Dark Angels would say, never forget, never forgive.